Yo. So in this one, I'm talking about how to shift your mindset to manifest. So one like mind magic trick that you can do that honestly it's just something I've just like learned to do like myself. Basically, and I've heard things like what I'm about to say, but it was different. Like I have like embodied experience. I've lived experience with this where it has morphed into my own way of doing it, which is this. Basically, let me give you an example of a this like mind magic trick. It's almost like self-hypnotizing yourself, you know, of like it could be whatever. Say, you want to do better, you want to be better, or you tired of your own bullshit, or it's just like, man, why can't I stop procrastinating and just do it? Like I keep just slacking and I keep falling behind. I'm just not doing this, da, 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 da. Or you have a limited belief. Yeah, let's say that limited belief. Um, the trick is that you can do that I've found works for me is basically you have that limited belief. You acknowledge it. First of all, it's acknowledging the actual limited belief, knowing that you even have the belief that's limiting you. That's the first step, is knowing it and accepting it, and not denying it. And just be like, no, like, like there's stuff you deal with, like you want to be better or stuff you're dealing with, or stuff you need to work on, but you kind of like put it in the back of your mind, or you just don't confront it. You kind of just like try to not think about it. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those very things for this video. Anyway, limited beliefs. Take that limited belief and acknowledge it. And I think I brought that up the last thing was because if if you don't know what's holding you back, think about the things that you need to work on, but you've been lying to yourself about, or you've been like trying to like push away type shit. Like those are the very things that are the keys for you to heal, for you to get through whatever you're trying to get through. So anyway, recognize the limiting belief, acknowledge it, and basically the trick comes with basically saying the opposite of that belief is true. Like say you have a fear of speaking, public speaking or something like that, or being on camera or whatever it may be. And it's like, man, like one time I was on the camera or I was in front of people and I got embarrassed because I sneezed or whatever, or I stuttered so bad. It made me just stop talking. I stuttered so bad. I just like whatever it may be, whatever, and there's a whole bunch of that's a whole nother thing, knowing the reasoning behind of like what caused that limited belief. But anyway, so take that thing, limited belief, and flipping the script and saying, you know what, I'm like, but the limited belief before was like, oh, I'm not a good speaker. I get nervous when I speak. I am not competent. I'm not a competent speaker, or whatever it may be. Take that and flip it. Because if you want to change that belief, you want to stop having that belief, you want to stop believing that you are a bad speaker, or that you aren't confident, or that you do get nervous. If you want to be confident, if you don't want to be nervous, if you want to be a great speaker when you speak, and you don't want to worry when you speak, and just show up and show out and just do your thing for real, flip the limiting belief into an affirmation. Say, I am a good speaker. I am confident when I walk into the room. I don't need to know every single thing I'm going to say, because I can speak from the heart and be confident and whatever I say. And if somebody asks me a question I wasn't prepared for, I'm not going to freak out. I think about it and I handle it appropriately. If I don't know the answer to the question, I'm going to say, I don't know. However, refer to this and that, refer to my colleague or whatever, you know? It's like flipping the limiting belief into an affirmation. And the thing is, starting off, it's not gonna be, it's not gonna feel like true or real. It'll feel like you're pretending. Um, and it's like, that's okay. That is very much okay to pretend that something is true that isn't yet. Like, and and the reason I know that sound, I don't know how that sound. I don't know how that sound to you, but I'm saying this because of my own experience with this. There's so many times, like I said, I've done this so many times. There's so many times where I want something, like I want to change something or something about myself I don't like, that I want to improve on. It's like, yo, I know I can do better. Like I'm so much better than this. Like I know I can overcome this, but say I'm still struggling with it at the time. But just by saying the belief, it's almost like you're not giving yourself space, like mental real estate, to think about what you lack, you're like lacking a skill, lacking confidence. It's like you're not thinking about the lack. You're not thinking about the limiting belief. You're thinking about it as an affirmation. So instead of worrying about or just being nervous when or you have to speak in front of somebody, whatever, it's like, you know what? I am confident. Even if you don't actually believe it at that moment, pretend like you do, act like you do. And, there's a lot of different opinions about the phrase, like fake it till you make it, which I think can be not so helpful. But basically, in this case, I see fake it till you make it being very helpful. Say those affirmations to yourself. Let the affirmations overcome the limiting beliefs. Let the affirmations trump the limiting beliefs, you know? Would you rather your mind space be filled with things that you lack or you feel bad about yourself? Or would you rather your mind space be filled with stuff that of affirmations, of stuff that do you feel good about this, or that affirm to yourself to be true that you are, So basically, um, over time, I've found every single time I've done that, I've actually have I've actually embodied that version of myself who does embody those qualities. First of all, look at me right now. Even this right now, I brought up that example because that's one example for me, but also that's a common example for other people of speaking up. Being nervous to speak. I used to be so nervous to speak. And honestly, I'm actually at a point now where I'm very confident when I speak. Also, this is different because it's on the camera, like by myself. I'm not talking to nobody, but still with people, I'm way more confident. Um, but actually, I want to give another example that is very personal, and honestly, I'm being vulnerable with this. Um, so basically, let me see. So I had my spiritual awakening about around last year, around last Christmas. Long story short, that's when I got the ideas for doing this, Jay's thoughts, and doing YouTube, content creation, and put my ideas out there. And I wanted, so I wanted to do YouTube. I wanted to post and everything. But starting off, and again, I gotta say, shout out to my wealth mentor, RJ. Man, he helped me so much. Just holding me accountable and calling me out on my own bullshit. You feel me? And there was times where it's like, I came to him and told him about my idea for starting doing YouTube. I was so excited. I want to do this, and that, da, da, da. And then he would ask me, so why don't you just start? Like, just go ahead, like, And I would I came up with so many different excuses for like weeks. It's like, oh, I gotta create an LLC. I gotta make sure nobody have my name. I gotta record and I gotta create a theme song, my own theme song for my YouTube channel. I gotta do this, and that, da, da, da. Cause I just like having my stuff. I'm naturally a person who like to have my stuff in order, and I think about a lot of stuff. And it's not that I won't do those things. I actually will do those things. But anyway, um, yeah. But he helped me see, like, yo, like, you don't have to do that, right? Like, you don't even have like like, you haven't even started posting yet, but you're thinking about doing this, and that. It's like, yeah, those are good things to think about. But starting off, you can just start. But I kept coming up with excuses after excuse after excuse to the point, and the whole time I'm coming with excuses, I knew that I had insecurities about my hair. Losing hair up here, all up here. When I was honestly my whole life I've had like thick ass hair, like thick as hell. And I loved my hair, and it was a huge part of my identity. Um, and then COVID happened. Right around COVID, that's when I went into depression. I reached my lowest low I've ever had. It was bad, you know. And that was when I started losing my hair. Started losing a lot more hair up here, and just slowly over time, I had like more and more hair loss. Um, and so yeah, so it's a whole bunch of stuff. Um, it's also dealing with school and trying to survive in the job market, all type of stuff. It's a lot of stuff I can mention. But anyway, skip back to earlier this year, after my shift, and I had the idea for Jay's Thoughts and YouTube and everything. Um, I was basically fearful of what people would think of me and my hair, because that was back when I had locks. I had my locks and shit. And it's like I was like losing like hair up here, um, and that was also when I had my dealing with the fear of being seen, but also fear of being seen with my hair, like losing my hair and shit. People, thinking of like people making fun of me, or what's this person going to think, what that person going to think, da, da, da. And that was a real thing for me. That's an example of something that like I didn't want to like face. I knew it was the truth, but I kept like mentally putting it in the back seat, like trying to like not deal with it. But it got to one day where I was like, you know what? First of all, I hired I hired RJ, as my wealth mentor. I'm paying thousands of dollars for him as my coach. And it's like, yo, I'm trying to get better. And it's like, why am I withholding information from my mentor? Why am I not holding myself accountable and trying to, I'm not talking about the actual thing that's holding me back. And so I was like, you know what? I asked for this. I asked for this accountability. And I'm gonna face it. I'm gonna face my insecurity. So next meeting we had, I told him, I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I just want to let you know. First of all, thank you for pushing me to just post, because I really can. I could have been posted. But for me, I basically told him like, yeah, I just want to let you know that for me, it has been my hair. I basically told him I was nervous about people seeing my hair and that being one of my insecurities, da da da. And he was very supportive and very encouraging. He gave me so much advice. I forget exactly what he said, but he was nothing but supportive. And he understood, and he even brought up different people who had the same experience, da da da. Maybe other clients. I forget what he said, but anyway, it was then where I basically was like, you know what? This to myself, affirming, like, I don't care what people think about me. I don't. Even though I kind of still did, but I was like, you know what? I don't. I'm affirming that to myself. I don't. And I don't care about, like, I'm not so attached to my hair anymore. Da, da, da. So basically, I said these affirmations, I went from having the limiting belief of, oh, I can't post yet because my hair hasn't grown back or whatever, or this and that. Oh yeah, and one more thing to mention real quick is, so in that first video that I did, Jay Styles Welcome to My Journey back in March. So I had like a retwist, and my hairstylist, she did put my hair up like that. Um, she was like, "That's cool," and I was like, "You know what? Yeah, that's cool." Um, and so I like that style, but I admit that getting that style with my locks draped over my hair like that, that was definitely out of trying to hide my insecurity, trying to block it. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I like that style, draped over like that. And then that was when I recorded my first video. Um, but even then, in my first video, it's like it felt better because I had it draped over my head, my hair draped over my hairline, and yeah, and I mean, but yeah, I just want to say it real quick. But long story short, through those affirmations of me saying I don't care about people think, I love myself first of all. I don't care what people think of me, what other people approve or not of my hair or whatever. Like, why the fuck would I even care about that anyway? They don't. They're not responsible for me, and they don't pay my bills and shit. Like, and basically, but yeah, stuff like saying affirmations like that. Where over time, that's when I cut my hair a couple months ago. I was like, you know what? I don't care. And to prove it even more, I'm about to snip this shit off. There's multiple reasons why. I ain't even get into why I cut off my hair. I might do that for the next video. Um, but yeah, I cut off my hair just to show just how much I wasn't attached to it. And it's to the point where now I truly don't care about what people think of me. I really, 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 really don't. I don't give a fuck, like, at all. And it's only getting like stronger because I thought I didn't give a fuck like a month ago. Now it's even like it's levels to not giving a fuck. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, so, but anyway, I'm at a point where now I'm on camera showing up as I am, you know, hair loss and all, sharing my story. And honestly, it feels empowering. Like not giving a fuck, it can be so empowering, yo. So, but yeah, man. Dang, there we go again. I done forgot what this video was even for. This is actually crazy. This is like the second time in a row this has happened where I get to end the video and I don't remember. Something about hair. Dang, I'm trying to remember, but yeah, I'm trying, but I don't want to take too long here. So, but yeah. Oh right, okay, I just remember the shifting your mindset to manifest. I'm telling you, all right, and this, I don't know how much memory I got, but I want to wrap this up right here. It's almost like, so with doing that, with like recognizing your limited belief and then flipping that limited belief into an affirmation, and you keep saying it and just affirming to yourself, like, I am this, so I am confident, whatever, whatever it may be, or maybe I am good at this skill or that skill or whatever it may be, or I am a good father, I am a good mother, I am, I handle situations well, whatever, you know. In the beginning, it seemed like you're pretending because it's not fully embodied yet. But I'm telling you, over time, you look back and you're like, oh shit, like I'm here. Like I'm where I affirmed myself that I was back then, but I'm actually here now. And it's like, wow, I kind of forgot about it, but now I'm actually here. You know what I mean? That's what I've been finding. Yeah, that's one of my what I call like a mind magic trick to do. Just affirming to yourself. Feeling strongly, attaching emotion to that affirmation, like really embodying yourself. That's the whole other thing of visualization and embodying the experience, like visualizing or pretending how you would feel doing it. It's like, how would I feel So we're flipping the limiting belief into an affirmation. You have the affirmation. Ask yourself, how would I feel if this was actually true? And actually putting yourself and allowing yourself to feel those things, like you thinking yourself in the future for getting to that point. And that's something that I do all the time. I've been doing this since I was like in high school, where it's like there's an experience, oftentimes when it's like not as pleasant or something I don't want to do or something that's hard, or maybe even a drive, like a long drive, or I have a meeting or whatever. It's like, man, I just imagine myself already have done it. Like, you know what? Thank you for getting me here, future me. But it's also like, well, I don't even say future me. I just say, thank you for getting me here. And it's like, I'm thanking my future self for getting through it. But then also at the same time, it's like my future self is like thanking me for continuing and doing it. You know what I mean? So, and it's interesting because I feel like I have like a relationship with my future selves and them with me going back in time. Even right now, looking back to high school, 'cause like right now, I'm where I prayed to be back in high school. I'm, stable job, my own apartment, my own place, and just doing good in life. I literally visualized myself here back in high school. And I remember literally saying, thank you for getting me here. So now when I say thank you for getting me here, it's like I'm thanking my younger self for getting me here type shit. You know what I mean? So anyway, I hope that can um, help at least one person, because it has worked wonders for me. It continues to work wonders. And something else I wanted to say, along with like having an affirmation and kind of like pretending that it's true, and then eventually it becoming true. Something else I thought of was like when you're like a kid. I just know for me personally, a lot of times I didn't have nobody to play with when I was a kid, and so I had my own action figures and Lego cities and stuff, or even I would have my Hot Wheels car and play on anybody who 2000s or 90s. It's like growing up. It's like it was like this like little like carpet, like a rug, like a square rug, and it was like a city and like it had roads and like cars and uh like it was like a block on a city, but and it had roads and stuff. I would have my Hot Wheels car racing like all around there, or like playing with my action figures, But it's like I was really it was really my own world. Like I was in a different world, like literally, you know. So and it was real for me. Like I was literally in my own world. That's why I always say I feel like I had one of the best. I had a great childhood in terms of my imagination, especially because a lot of times I didn't have nobody to play with, you know. And I really went to like a different dimension in my head, just playing and creating with no limitations. You feel me? And it's like I feel like there's a connection with that, with kind of like the mind magic trick I talked about of like recognize or like flipping a limiting belief into an affirmation and pretending, saying it, completing it, keep saying an affirmation, holding that, um, holding that as true for yourself, and then eventually over time it becomes true. You might have even forgot about the affirmation, but so it's like you sowed the seed, this idea that became true. You manifested it over time. But basically, I just wanted to point out that I feel like there's a lot of power in that childlike wonder, childlike imagination that you can tap into. If you aren't where you want to be in life, you can tap into that creative energy to envision the life you want to be, who you want to be, this type of skills you want to have, where you want to be, you know, envision it for yourself. Turn it, make affirmations. Because over time, it becomes reality. But you gotta stay consistent with it, and you have to really want it. You gotta know what you want in the first place. Don't just manifest something just because it's cool or just where you think you should be or where other people think you should be. Like, and that's a whole nother thing of, like I said, of knowing what you want. Make sure it's aligned with you, So anyway, I just want to add that little tidbit in there. But yeah, that's all for now. Peace.